सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। हरिः ओं श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओं. We are in chapter 12 of Bhagavad Gita and we have completed up to 14th sloka. Today we'll start with 15th sloka. Bhagavan Sri Krishna Paramatma explained various lakshanas, various qualities of jnani, so that we can emulate and become a jnani. Bhagavan wanted to publicize, Bhagavan wanted to advertise about jnani's happiness, about the state of jnani, so that more and more people can be lured into jnana yogam. By simply emulating a jnani, we can become a jnani over the period of time. It becomes a very natural course of our nature. Pujya Swamiji often calls it fake it and make it. So if you emulate a jnani, you will be over a period of time. Second thing, earlier we were under the impression moksha is a sadhya vastu. We have to achieve it by doing sadhana. But Paramatma clearly explained that moksha is a siddha vastu. You are already a mukta purusha. So with this great relief, we can all start our journey without any tension, without any kind of feeling that we have to reach the goal. And for some people, they have a feeling whether they want to know whether they are jnanis or not. So for them, these qualities are very useful. So they can tally whether these qualities are there with them or not. If the qualities are there, then he is a jnani. If they are not there, then he is far away from jnani. He has to improve a lot. So this way, we have many advantages by knowing the qualities of jnani. Paramatma already did this kind of exercise in the very beginning. In second chapter, he had mentioned Sthita Prajna Lakshanani. What are the various qualities of a jnani? So there he already mentioned. Now he is repeating it so that after getting the knowledge, after getting the self-knowledge, one can test himself whether he is a jnani or not. If there are any difficulties, if there are any obstacles, he can overcome that and become a jnani, enjoy jivan mukti, and thereafter videha mukti. So this is what exactly Paramatma wanted all of us to know. So in these lines, we will continue sloka number 15. Esmanno dvijate loko, lokanno dvijate chayaha, harsha marsha bhayodvegaihi, mukto yassa cha me priyaha. Esmat lokaha na udvijate. By whom? Yasmat means by whom? Lokaha means not the world, all the pranikoti is not subject to any type of tension, any type of fear. They are totally fearless in his presence. Cha, moreover, Yaha lokat na udvijate. So, whoever is not frightened by any pranikoti, who is not subject to any kind of tension, any kind of difficulty by any prani. In the similar way, yaha harsha marsha bhayodvegai muktaha, and who is free from harsham, amarsham, bhayam, and udvegam. So these words anyway I will explain very soon. Saha me priyaha. So such a bhakta, such a sadhaka, such a jnani is dear to me. He is very close to me. So again Paramatma is praising a jnani. He clearly declares that he likes a jnani. Lokaha asmat na udvijate. Yaha cha lokat na udvijate. Yaha cha harsha amarsha bhaya udvegaihi muktaha. Saha me priyaha asti. By whom these living beings are not subjected to any kind of fear. By whose presence they are fearless. And who is fearless by any kind of prani, who is not subject to any kind of tension by any kind of prani. In the same way, who is free from harsham, amarsham, bhayam, and udvegam. Harsham means excitement, the times of excitement. When he is in the highest peak of joy, people generally forget their roots and they behave abnormally when they are in highest state of excitement. Amarsham means the reverse, depression, or sometimes you can also understand it as envy, jealousy, like that. When at the time of jealousy, at the time of envying somebody, or at the time of depression, bhayam means in the times of fear, udvegam, in the times of tension, in the times of difficulties, he is free. He is not having any kind of mental agony. He is free in his mind. So such a bhakta, such a jnani, such a sadhaka is my dear one. I love him the most. So this is what we have to understand. Generally in people, there are two types of people. One who is very rough as rock. He is not affected by any kind of jolts in the world. He is very tough and rock-like man. The other one is very sensitive, super sensitive. It is really good to be, rough and tough, because whenever such a person faces difficulties, it doesn't really create a problem in his mind. because he's such a rough and tough man. So this is there. We, in our sampradaya, when a brahmachari wants to learn the knowledge, so they ask him to stand on a rock, and he has to pray God in such a way that, his mind should be akin to that rock, so that he can face any difficulty in Gurukulam. When he is in Gurukulam, he is away from his parents. There won't be any kind of pampering. There may be a problem from his peer group. There may be a problem in, eating. He may be getting all delicious food at home. Whereas in Gurukulam, you cannot afford to have that kind of food. So, a person should be, very rough and tough. So, initially, when he's starting his brahmacharyam, they ask him to stand on a rock and ask him to chant few mantras. In that, it is mentioned that let me be as strong as this rock. Similarly, bride at the time of marriage, she will be asked to, place her leg on a rock. A similar prayer will be given because she has to leave her parents' house and she has to enter the in-laws' house. And there will be a lot of, cultural shock. There may be some difficulty. People may not pamper her. So she has to build that, that roughness in the mind. That katina hrudayam is required. This is good in a way. But these people, they can face any tough situation. To them, it is a very protective thing. But they think the other people are also as tough as they are. So they often hurt people, thinking that they are also tough and rough so that they don't mind. But if the other person is a sensitive person, he will feel bad. On the contrary, there are some other kind of people who are very sensitive, like a flower. They feel so bad for even a slightest insult. They are like, the chemical balance which we see in the laboratory. It is kept in a glass case because slightest wind, it will tilt. So these people are very sensitive. They are fit enough to be in the glass houses. So both are not correct according to Vedanta. Both are not correct because if you are tough and if you are insulting, that is bad. If you are very sensitive and simply you get hurt for simple things, that is also bad. Now, what will be the composition of a jnani? Jnani is a right mix of both. Jnani is a right mix of both because he will be tough while facing the world. When he faces the world, when he encounters the world, when people hurt him, when people insult him, he is like a rock. He doesn't care. But when he is dealing with the people, when he is talking with the people, when he is interacting with the people, from his side, he is very sensitive. That means he will not hurt people. He knows other people will be, hurt and they feel bad. So he is very careful in dealing with people. Yasmat lokaha na udvijate. Jnani will not hurt anyone. So he talks very politely. He believes in ahimsa in all three levels, in words, in deeds, and in his thoughts. So in Trikarana Suddhi, in all three ways, he maintains that ahimsa. So there won't be any kind of ill feeling from his side to the world, because he deals with the world very nicely, very politely. He knows the euphemism. He respects people. Lokat navudvijate. Lokat navudvijate means if the people yell at him, the people insult him or hurt him, he will be very strong. He will not feel bad. He will take it very lightly. We see the rocks on the seashore. If you go to places like, Visakhapatnam and all that, you see that a rocky shore. So there on that rock, the waves will be hitting the rock hardly, very roughly. But the rock will not get hurt. So in the same way, lokat navudvijate. Even though the world ill-treats, even though the world behaves very odd with him, he will not feel bad, because he is a kind of rough. He developed a kind of rough mentality when people are hurting him, when people are insulting him. So there is a sloka praising a jnani like this. Vajradapi katorani vrudoni kusumadapi lokottaranam chetamsi kohi vijñatumarhati. Vajradapi katorani. Jnani's mind will be tough like a diamond. He will not get hurt even though others insult him. Mruduni kusumadapi. His mind is very soft, delicate, and very sensitive. When he is dealing with the people, when he is talking with them, when he is doing something good for them, he is always very polite. He respects everyone like that. So this is what a jnani means. That's why Paramatma said he will not get hurt by the loka, nor will he hurt the loka. This is what Paramatma said. Then Paramatma wanted to mention that he enjoys Jivan Mukti. That means he is always happy in spite of difficulties, in spite of oddities in the day-to-day life. So he mentioned a few things and he is free from those few things. What are those things? Harsha, Amarsha, Bhaya, Udvegam, These are the four things. He is free. He is not affected by these four things. So he is in samsara. He is not running away from the samsara. He is very much in samsara. But he is not affected by these four things. What are the four things? Harsham. Harsha means excitement. Happiness at the highest toll. Happiness at the peak. When he is in the excited state. Usually people become arrogant when they are in excited state. When they are in the peak of happiness, they insult others. In that happiness, they do not know what is good and what is bad. So they lose the balance. They often insult elders also. They often insult their gurus. So this is what happens in reality. But this jnani is such a balanced one. He will not lose his balance. He will always maintain his elements. So he will not hurt anyone. So this is the greatest boon for a jnani. He always maintains that viveka shakti. And amarsham. Amarsham means disgust, envy, or some kind of depression like that. When people are in the depressed mode, they again they fire people and they shout at others, and they express their anger because of the jealous feeling. They behave very peculiarly. Amarsham. But jnani, on the contrary, he will not behave like that. First of all, he will not have any kind of jealousy feeling. He will not have any kind of envy. He will not undergo depression because he knows that he is Atma. Atma will not be in excitement, nor it will be in the depression. Because he rebels with Atma, he will not have hurt or guilt. This hurt and guilt will not be there for him. He is free from hurt and guilt. So, this is what we have to understand. Amarsham is not there, Harsham is not there. He is free from Harsham, he is free from Amarsham. Para utkarsham drushtva jayamanaha santapaha amarshaha. So, even jealousy is also called amarsham. So, whenever people are jealous about someone, they try to find fault with such people, and they try to do mudslinging. So this kind of cheap tricks a jnani will not do. A jnani will always respect people, and he is also respected by the people. So usually, when we see people usually they feel jealous and they comment on our face. One person went to a doctor. He said, "Doctor, I am getting stomachache." And he said, "I went to your next door doctor." And he wanted to continue. Before he continues, this doctor told, "You went to a brainless doctor. He must have given a brainless suggestion to you, a brainless prescription." Then immediately this gentleman told, you go to the next door doctor, he can treat you. So that means who is brainless? So this is what happens when you are, having jealousy. You will not appreciate the other person. You will not appreciate the good qualities of other persons. Whereas Jnani is not like that. Jnani is always, always behaves politely with everyone. Paraguna paramanun parvati krutya nityam. Nijahrudi vikasanta santi santaha kriyantaha. So, a noble person will see the other man's good quality in a magnifying lens. His defects he will almost ignore. So, this is the nature, this is the character of a jnani. Then bhayam, the fear. So, this fear is an inbuilt a thing which grew from our childhood. So when we were very young as a child, we were behind the mother and we wanted protection. So this fear consciousness is inherent for everyone. But Jnani will not have any fear. He is totally fearless because Jnanam will give that abhayam. In Vairagya Satakam, Bhartruhari described bhayam in a beautiful way. Bhoge roga bhayam, kule chuti bhayam, vitte Rupala bhayam, mani dainya balam, bale ripubalam, rupe jara bhayam, shastre vadi bhayam, gune kalabayam, kaye krutantat bhayam, sarva vastu bhayanvitam, bhuvi nrunam vairagyameva abhayam. Bhoge roga bhayam. For a person who enjoys, who is always believes in merriment and who is an Epicurean, who loves to spend time in luxuries and enjoyment. For such person, he will have a fear of rogam. Today I am eating. Today I am enjoying, but what will happen in future? If I get illness, can I enjoy like this? So this kind of feeling will be there, fear will be there for a bhogi who is involved in full of luxuries and full of enjoyment, an Epicurean. Kule chutibayam, a person who belongs to an upper caste. He is always worried about his status in the society. His father is a Ganapati, his grandfather is a Jatavallabh. So all his great grandfathers, they did the Agnihotras. So all these greatness will be there. He was boasting to people. We belong to such and such family. Our forefathers were such a great people. He is worried because his daughter might marry a low caste person. So that fear is there in him, which causes a kind of discomfort. Our Swamiji, Puja Swamiji often tells, The biggest problem for anyone is that he gives lot of importance for others. How will the other person think of me? That is the main issue, that is the main cause for him to, brood over. So, this person who is in the upper caste will have a fear that he will be belittled by others. He will be insulted by others if his daughter marries a low caste person. Vitte nupala bhayam. If a person is very rich, then he is worried about the taxes. He is worried about the king. He is worried about the government because they take away part of his money in the form of taxes. He cannot hide the money. Nowadays, everything is becoming digitalized. It is not like earlier days. Earlier, people were having black money. Now, it is not possible. So, the rich people, they are worried how to protect this money, how to avoid taxes. This is the real concern for them. Vitte nupalad bhayam. Mane dainya balam. For a person who is enjoying fame, who is enjoying a lot of name in the society, so he is worried because if he is insulted in the society for some reason, then all his fame will go to dogs. So throughout his life, he will be, safeguarding that fame. And he feels wherever he goes, people should respect him and treat him like a very popular person. Sambhavitasya chakirtihi maranad atirichyate. So, if he is a very respectful person, this apakirti is worse than death. So, for him, mane dainya balam. Bale ripubalam. For a person who is a strong man, who is well built, who is muscular, for such person who is very good in wrestling and all these martial arts, he is worried about the opponent. He is worried about a person who can defeat him. A king who is powerful is always worried about the other kings so that he has to protect himself and his kingdom. He should see that his kingdom is not occupied by the enemy kings. So, bale ripubalam. For a strong man, the enemy scare is always there. Rupe jaraya bhayam. For a person who is beautiful, a person who is handsome, is worried about the old age. This beauty and handsomeness will not stay for good. So as the person grows old, then all the beauty will go away. It will fade away. So he is worried about his glamour. This fear lingers in the glamour field, in a cinema field, in a field where they have a lot of glamour and all that. Advertisement field, cinema field. They want to maintain their glamour throughout their life, which is not possible. Shastre Vadibhayam. For a person who knows Shastra, who is very thorough in Shastra, he is worried about another Pandit who can defeat him. So, though he is very strong in his subject, he is always worried if somebody who is more powerful comes and he defeats him in argument. Gune Kalabayam. A person who is leading dharmic life, who is leading a spiritual life, who is leading the Vedic life, he is worried about the society because the society will not accept him. The society will yell at him. The society will find fault with him, will make fun of you. Imagine your child is having kumkum and all that. Her peer group will tell him, why you are wearing kumkum? This is out of fashion. So they will have a bindi which is almost negligible. You have to take a magnifying lens and see whether bindi is there or not. So this kind of cultural shock will be there for a gune, for a dharmic person. Because majority of the people, they don't follow the dharmic life. On the contrary, they find fault with him. So gune kalabayam. For a person who is dharmic, he is having worry while dealing with the society. Sarva vastu bhayanvitam bhuvi nunam. So, in this world, sarva vastu bhayanvitam bhuvi nunam. In this world, everything means everything is fear causing. There is not even a single thing which will not cause fear. So what is the solution? Vairagyameva abhayam. Only vairagyam. Only Vedanta will give you abhayam. It will give you full security. So this is what we have to understand. A person walks with a walking stick for support because he cannot walk without walking stick. On the contrary, there is another person who goes with walking stick every day just for fun, just for fashion. He swings the walking stick while walking. It doesn't depend on that. So, for a jnani, all these fears will vanish because he is always in union with Atma. Atma doesn't have any bhayam. Atma doesn't have any kind of harsham. Atma will not have any kind of amarsham. Atma will not have any kind of udvegam. So, as Atma is free from harsham, amarsham, bhayam and udvegam. So, such a person who is having these qualities, yaha saha me priyaha. Such a jnani bhakta is my beloved one. I love him the most. This is what Paramatma declared. So we will go to sloka number 16. Anapeksha suchit daksha udasino gatavyadaha sarvaramba parityagi yo madbhaktas sacha me priya yo madbhaktas same priya anapeksha suchit daksha udasino gatavyadaha sarvaramba parityagi yo madbhaktas same priya. Yaha anapekshaha, who is not having any kind of apeksha, any kind of expectation. Suchihi, who is very pure, both internally and externally. Dakshaha, who is skillful, who is responsible. Udasinaha, who is not having any partisan attitude, who is not biased, who doesn't take sides. Gatavyadaha, who is free from all troubles and tribulations, who is free from sorrow. Saha, such bhakta, such jnani, sarvarambha parityagi, who renounces kartrutva abhimanam, who doesn't have any kind of abhimanam in all the deeds. Mad bhaktaha me priyaha, he is my devotee and he is my beloved one. I love him the most. Yaha mad bhaktaha. So, that bhakta who is having anapekshaha, who is not having any kind of apeksha. Apeksha means a kind of desire. I want this. I want. This kind of wanting tambura is not there for him. Suchihi, bahyabhyantara suchihi. So he is pure inside, pure outside. Dakshaha, very skillful. Udasinaha, he is always balanced. He doesn't take sides. Gatavyadaha, so he is free from sorrow. Sarvarambha parityagi, so he is not having kartrutva abhimanam. In all the deeds, he will not have that kartrutva abhimanam. I did this. This is my work. Because of me it happened. That kind of feeling is not there. Such a person is very dear to me. That's what Paramatma says. So, whoever is not dependent on things outside, who is not desiring anything, who is not dependent on anybody or anything. When you are dependent on something, when you are expecting something, naturally you get disappointed because sometimes your expectation may not happen, may not work out. So you feel bad, you feel disgusted. So this jnani doesn't have any kind of expectation. He doesn't desire anything. He does work for the good of people, but at the same time he is doing it altruistically, with an altruistic mind, without any expectation. So, agate swagatam kuryat gachantam na nivarayet. So, anapekshaha. So, a person who is not having any expectation, he is having desires which are not binding. Unbinding desires he can have. Dharmic desires he can have. Suchihi, both outside and internally, is pure. Dakshaha. Dakshaha means he does things very efficiently, very responsibly. He takes up things. He is very responsible in his family and in his outside dealings. He is very true to his work, and he does it with full responsibility. Then he doesn't take any side. Doesn't take any side. Some people, they are always biased. He always maintains that balance. There is no biased nature in him. He doesn't have I and mine syndrome. So that dakshatvam is there, that udasinatvam is there. Udasina means one who doesn't, people think that he doesn't care anything, is somewhat inert and like that. It is not that in that meaning used here. Udasina means there is no Pakshapata Vaikari. Two parties are there. He doesn't belong to any of those parties. He doesn't comment. He doesn't take sides. He does his work judiciously. Gatavyadaha is free from all kinds of pain and sorrow. He is not affected by the troubles and tribulations of this world. So he is totally free from all kinds of difficulties. Like in Arjuna Vishada Yogam, Arjuna had that agony, mental agony, that he is going to kill his own kith and kin because he took sides. He is fighting Dharma Yuddha. When he is fighting Dharma Yuddha, he cannot take sides. Whoever is on the opposite side, he has to take them as enemies. But there, his ahankaram and mamakaram started playing. Whereas for a jnani, there is no ahankaram, there is no mamakaram. So he is free from this kind of biased nature. And whenever there is a problem, people think that why me? I'm so good with the society. I did so much to the society. Why me? Why me? Like this. So this kind of feeling is not there for him because he knows the karma siddhanta, and when it is a body, this is a part of the package. So he will not brood. So whatever you get is a prarabdha given by Ishvara. So it is Ishvara prasadam for him. Sarvaramba parityagi. So he renounces, he dedicates all his karmas, all his actions unto God. So he is not bounded by karma. So we have apurnam plus apurnam will not become purnam. It will become apurnam. So whatever be the achievements in this world, they will not make a person whole and complete. Because however successful you are in this world, you may be top in the Fortune 500, but still you are an Apurna Purusha. Because that height you have reached will not stay for long. There is another person who can beat you tomorrow, who can supersede you tomorrow. So this kind of rat race will be there in the day-to-day world. But this jnani, he will not have any kind of bad feeling, any kind of dukkham, because he is always in union with Atma. So he is always happy, and in spite of things he is happy. And such a person, such a jnani is dear to me. I love him the most. That's what Paramatma is declaring here. We will see more such slokas in future. Paramatma is going to tell up to 19th the qualities of jnani. We will learn more and more about jnana in the next class also. Om Tat Sat Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudatyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om